for a second and let's talk. Yo, DJ, roll that beautiful champagne footage.
For your invitation, champagne, to experience the clink, the chaos, and all of the empowerment secret you desire. There's a secret in the bottle, the bottle, the bottle. I just can't get a little clink with the chaos. You know we got some hella hood with the class, baby, up to a wine. Come sit and say this, we can spill some. And if you lost your way, we'll leave it alive. There's a secret in the bottle, the bottle, the bottle. I just can't get enough.
Champagne secrets.
They letting people get 40, 50,000 right now. Next day, you want to do your chase?
A what?
Man, they have a glitch right now with Chase.
Oh no, you're not gonna let them. My bank account.
It's not gonna close
No,
it.
thank you, man.
It's a glitch. It's not gonna close it. Mom, you've been having your Chase for a million years. They're not gonna close it. You didn't have so much money in there.
No, thank you, baby.
Man, you don't want to get no money.
I sure don't.
That's crazy. That's real life crazy.
That if you're gonna mess up my bank account.
It's not gonna close it.
What kind of glitch you got, Demalia?
I'm telling you, look on the internet. Everybody and their mama looking for a chase right now. That's why I'm looking at my mama for the chase.
For a chase for what?
Cause it's a glitch right now. They giving everybody money.
Yeah,
right now.
but
it's not gonna close your account.
What you gotta do? What you gotta do?
Put a check on there. I got somebody who's gonna put a check on there. I have somebody who's gonna put a check on there, and they're gonna give the money.
What? God, no. No, thank you. I pay. Thank you for trying, though. I pay.
You lame. I'm trying to get these money on.
Call me what you want. Call your brother. Call your brother and see if he gonna go for it.
All right. Let me call him.
Thank you for calling Chase Bank. How may I help you? Well, I don't know what's going on over there, but you're going to need to slow down a little bit. Slow down. I need some help on my account. This is crazy. This is crazy. Absolutely crazy. I just can't believe this. Let me have your phone number or your account number, whichever. It's 238-567-5432. Okay. And your name? Janessa Smith. Okay. Well, a friend of mine told me about some glitch you guys were having, and I put a check in the bank, and now I got a big mess over there. No, we did not have. It wasn't called a glitch. It seems like people were putting checks in the bank, and they didn't have the money for it, and then it was clearing, and then taking all the money out. So now those people owe us money. Well, and it looks like your account is one of those accounts. Well, I need this fixed right now. I don't have no time for this garbage. My rent is due, and now my account is in the negative, and you guys need to take care of this. That's not going to happen. Actually, we're going to be taking legal action against everyone who did this. So, like I said, I don't have time for this. You need to fix my account, like right now, because I do not have time for this garbage.
We're calling Chase. How can I help? My account is negative $42,000. Oh. Okay, let me check your account. Okay, so I think I see the problem. You wrote a check to yourself 3 days ago, and it looks like we were unable to clear that check because you did not have the funds in your account. No, the money was in my account because I bought stuff with it. Right, so when you deposit a check, we give you an advance in good faith that the check will go through. However, this check bounced, so we had to take the funds out of your account. Okay, so put them back in. That's not really how it works. Well, I had money in my account before all of this, so where's that money? Seems like you guys are stealing from me. Okay, ma'am, The money that was previously in your account, it looks like the $34.52 will go towards the $42,000 that you owe us. Okay, well, it's not just that. My paycheck was also deposited today, and that's gone too. Yeah, so any deposits that you receive to this account will go towards fixing that negative balance. No, this is not right. I'm calling the police. They are actually already on the way to your location.
Earned a prison settlement cause you needed cash now. You scammed JP Morgan, now your ass ain't finna get out.
Before we get started, y'all give me a second. Let me do a quick audio check. Okay, sounds like we picking up, but I gotta turn my music down a little bit. And we're gonna get ready to get into this show. Champagne Gang, Fizz Fam, Confidantes. Welcome to the Champagne City for Champagne Conversations here at Champagne Secrets. You know, the classy side of drama. If this is your first time here, hi, I'm the Empress, and you are joining me for grown discussions and bubbly banter. Over here, we give classy with a twist, huh? A little clink with chaos with a side of charm. So if you're ready to sip, savor, and spill, then grab your favorite glass of bubbly. I don't care if it is water. Kick your feet up in one of those Chase lounges over there. And let's get ready to get into it. And today we have a full show of some things that we need to get into. From this viral chase money glitch that has had TikTok in a chokehold and people trying to figure out how they can get in on the action, to serious dictator, last seen Forrest Gumping it to Russia to escape a hostile takeover, even to this jail video that I found that you have to see to believe. So we have a lot to talk about on today, and I want to see you in the comments because you know we will be pausing to read them and talk about them, right? So if you're ready, we're gonna get ready to get into it. But y'all listen, because I did a thing. Hold on a second. Let me show you this. Yeah, we did. Yeah, we did. We're going to test the algorithm a little bit. So I procured another plot of land on YouTube streets, and it is strictly for the Hennessy Zone. Yeah, that's right. The Hennessy Zone now has its own channel. So everyone please go over and subscribe over there. There's no content just yet, but we will be revisiting some old cases and also covering some new ones. Excuse me, this is going to be our space for our true crime stories. I want to really test the algorithm because I got some thoughts about this thing. So we're going to see how it works, all right? So if you're into true crime and breaking crime stories, then go ahead over there and subscribe. Y'all see the thumbnail? We gonna get into it. We also gonna get into these star real estate brothers who have now been accused of SA. And as y'all know, all these cases are starting to come out. It's so many SA cases going on right now to make your head spin in a circle. But make sure you like and subscribe. And you already know, before we get into the tea, the fizz, I know you need a positivity bath. It's been a long day. So go ahead and raise those glasses high for our dose of empowerment. Y'all ready? It's time to level up, baby. The glow up ain't just about looks, nah. It's about mindset, moves, and making magic happen in your life. You've been sleeping on your own potential, but now it's grind time. Your dreams, they're waiting on you. Don't let fear call the shots. Let your faith pop bottles. Stop comparing. Your path is yours, and it's paved in gold. It's waiting for you. Every no you've heard, that's just fuel for your yes that's coming. Remember, when you level up, Some folks might level out, and that's okay. Growth happens when what isn't beneficial to you is pruned away. Now repeat after me. I am limitless. I am stepping boldly into my greatness. Every move I make is aligned with my highest purpose. The glow up is real, and I'm shining brighter every day. Let's level up and toast to the life we're building. Here's to you, Confidant, for you are worth it. Let's toast. Sorry I had to cough, y'all. I'm getting over a little bit of cold, but it's all right. We're going to get into our first show. Let me get ready. So we starting a new thing over here on the channel. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be recording my stories live. And then because y'all know I do the whole editing thing, we going to edit it together and piece it together and separate these stories into separate clips. But you guys get the unedited version, all right? So our first show, we're going to get into this whole bank thing. So we finna go to the bank, Chase Bank that is. And you know what? I keep saying to myself, I don't know what happened to us post-pandemic where we've become greedy and lost our cognitive ability. It's like somewhere after 2020, brain cells start disappearing or something because we just stop thinking and just start doing whatever comes to mind. There's a reason the Bible says the love of money is the root of all evil. But more than that, it's also the root of all dumbness. I'm starting to believe. What is it about having a lot of money that makes people illogical, illiterate, remedial, and just damn dumb? I don't understand. What is it? Because we just can't be this stupid. We can't. So, a few months ago, a so-called TikTok glitch went viral on social media. This glitch involved JP Morgan Chase, and clearly y'all didn't know who JP Morgan was. Baby, this was the same man who was supposed to be on the Titanic with several other high profile dignitaries, some of which were his adversaries. And he decided to get off at the last minute. So he ended up surviving, allegedly, and had a huge come up behind it while all of his adversaries perished. But that's for a different story. Chase is the largest bank in the U.S., hell, in the world. And somehow y'all let the devil play with you and con y'all into thinking y'all could get away with it. It's just a glitch. And if you don't know what said glitch is, well, a few bright individuals found out that you could go to a Chase Bank time machine and deposit a check for thousands of dollars, hundreds of thousands of dollars even, into your own account. Again, I say, into your own accounts, and then turn around and withdraw the money, and they felt like nobody would know. But JP Morgan found out. Oh, yes, he did. And y'all, this is what he had to say about it.
Oh, you motherfuckers. Okay. All right. I'm putting cases on all you bitches. You think you can do this to me? You motherfuckers will be playing basketball in Pelican Bay when I get finished with you. Shoot program, nigga. 23-hour lockdown. I'm the man up in this piece. You'll never see the light of who the fuck you think you fucking with. King Kong ain't got shit on me.
Y'all seen it? JP Morgan Chase won't all the smoke behind their money, honey. Because now, allegedly, JP Morgan Chase is filing lawsuits against those who defrauded the system. Check this out real quick.
Oh, everyone's telling me to lawyer up, so that's what I'm about to do. I'm I'm on my way to see the lawyer now. Everyone keeps saying I committed some type of crime and fraud, wire fraud, theft fraud. So I'm going to let y'all hear what the lawyer say, because he knows the law. You don't know the law. He knows the law. So I'm going to take y'all along with me. Y'all really should stop with the negative comments, because it's just like, y'all don't. So I just got off the elevator. Yeah, I'm about to go talk to him, and we're gonna see what the expert says.
So I don't know if y'all see my first video or not, but I'm $120,000 into debt, all due to this Chase Bank glitch. I've hired a lawyer. I spoke with him. The best legal advice he said that he could give me would to be to turn myself in. Obviously, I'm not gonna do that just yet. He's aiming to shoot for a misdemeanor check fraud, which could be a year in jail, or I could get out and have to pay a certain amount of fines. But he said due to these cases recently over the United States, it's all a federal charge, which is a felony, which means time in prison. And I don't know if y'all ever been to jail or not, but prison is not a pretty place. I currently had to leave my house with my girlfriend. Now I'm out of town, staying at a friend's house. He has no idea what's going on, just to be aware. I had withdrew all the money from my two other accounts, my Teleco account, my Wells Fargo account. Can't tell you how much due to legal purposes. The reason I had withdrew all the money from my two accounts is because my lawyer was aware of me that regardless of the situation, all my accounts are going to be seized. So I really don't know what's going to happen to me next, as far as like if they're going to come out looking for me, or if I'm going to have a warrant. Or he awared me that there is a high possibility that I'm definitely going to have.
I'm sorry, awared. He awared me that. I don't know why we could expect anyone who says he awared me to understand anything about checking and banking and fraud. Because that's what this is. It's fraud. It's not a glitch. You attempted to defraud the system. And you didn't think somehow the system would come back and try to recoup what you tried to take. This is JP Morgan Chase. Yeah, let's continue.
What's going to happen next? But like I said, I'm out of town. I feel safer in this environment, away from the county police. But I feel like it's only a matter of time till they catch up with me and find my whereabouts. So if you guys have any advice on that, please let me know. But yeah, other than that, I'll just keep you guys updated throughout this journey. Like I said, I'm not gonna turn myself in. I definitely don't want to go to jail nor prison. But yeah, it's really a rough situation. I'm very clueless. I'm very lost. I'm very hurt. I'm very scared. But yeah, as far as that goes, I should be back tonight or tomorrow with a update for y'all and in my situation and everything else. Just really pray for me right now. Just really pray for me. I could use all the prayer needed.
So as you guys know,
Help me understand. Where was all this thought process before you decided to defraud the bank? Where was that at? You didn't stop to think about the consequences before you decided to do the dumb shit you did? $120,000. And somehow you didn't think the bank would notice. $120,000 in your account that you didn't have before. From a check that virtually had no money on it because it was fake. Y'all, please. I'm so concerned about us. I really am.
making sure I am stuck and I can't do anything, bro. It's ridiculous. Like, my lawyer told me that they've seen my TikToks. Like I don't even know what to do, bro. Like, at this point, I might as well just skip country, bro. Like I don't know what to do, bro. It's not looking good at all for me, man. So I need y'all to pray for me, bro. Pray for me, guys.
So, as y'all know, I know they said that if you participate in a chase deposit, that you are going to get arrested. I just left my lawyer, and I don't know what the consequence is going to be, because I gave someone my bank account and let them deposit check in my account, and they didn't give me nothing but like $200 from the Chase bank wave. And I just wanted to let y'all know, like, don't do it. Like, it's not even worth it. And I don't even know why I did it. I don't know why I allowed someone to get my bank information. I don't know why I allowed someone to use my debit card. I don't know why I allowed someone to deposit money in my account and then take my account and only give me $200 to $300 out of the money.
At some point, we got to use accountability. I don't know why it's not a viable response for why you allow somebody to mess up not only your name, because you ain't never going to be able to get a checking account again, but mess up your checking account. I don't know why it's not a viable answer, because the fact of the matter is they all know why they did it. They thought they had a quick come up. That's why they did what they did. Isn't that what's going on social media now? Everybody chasing a bag. Everybody looking for a quick come up. Everybody looking for the next get rich quick scheme. That's why you did it. You saw dollar signs. You saw the ability to be able to look the way everybody else look on the TV that you like watching. You saw the ability to be able to cash out 1, 2, or 3 times. That's why you did it. Why we won't use accountability? Why can't we stand and be accountable for anything? And say, you know what? I messed up. I had more dollars than cents and made a dumb decision that I'm now paying for. You know why you did it, Cletus. Yeah, you do.
We was only able to spend $17,300, and they talk about we gotta pay that back, and talk about something gonna investigate me too. I ain't did nothing. How y'all gonna investigate me? Cause that's my baby daddy. He did the crime. He need to do the time. Okay, don't be talking about some y'all and all that. It's not no y'all. It was him. But how y'all taking him to jail when y'all the ones who messed up? I don't get it. Like, it's cause he black. I'm telling you, this was a white person or any other ethnicity, they wouldn't have did that to him. It's cause he's of an African American descent.
Thank you, Zachary. I'm just talking. I just hope this girl ain't this dumb. She can't be. You don't know why he going to jail. What do you mean? You don't know why you going to jail. You don't understand. I hope she's doing this for clicks and views. And she really don't think like this. Because if she really does, then it's really showing me the greater problem that we have as a people. And how damn uneducated we have turned out to be post-pandemic. Why are they taking him to jail? You stole from a federal institution. A federally insured one. You thought that was just free money up for grabs? Do y'all not realize all ATMs have cameras? Y'all, I just need to know what. Y'all got to drop in the comments and let me know, what do y'all think is going on? Because I'm so confused. I am so confused at the level of remedialness that proceedeth out of the mouth of some of us. And some of the stuff that we decide to do for the almighty dollar. This is crazy. Where'd it go? Come back out. Hold on, y'all. My video tripping. Give me 1 second, y'all. Well, I tell you what, since that one is tripping, we're going to go to the next one because some lawyers have gotten involved and they're explaining the lawsuits that JP Morgan Chase have now filed against said individuals who have decided. And here's my thing with some of y'all. Some of y'all so greedy. Y'all couldn't stop at, you know what, I just need to pay my rent. Not saying it's right, but y'all couldn't stop there. $120,000, 300 and something. Your account ain't never seen that much money, and you didn't think they would question. All of a sudden, a check comes in your account, and all of a sudden, you flying to banks to withdraw it all right after you deposited it. 2 + 2 didn't equal 4 in your head to think this wasn't gonna be okay. Check this out, y'all.
Started suing the individuals who deposited counterfeit checks and withdrew the money this summer. I'm a lawyer in real life. I don't play one on television. Let's talk about what happened, and let's talk about what is likely to happen to these individuals. First, let me just ask a question. Why did you think this was going to work? Why did you think you could deposit a counterfeit check, money you knew you didn't have, a check you knew was not real, and think you were going to be able to withdraw the money and nobody was going to come and ask for their money? I don't understand. So Chase has filed civil lawsuits. The criminal cases are still pending. The feds take a little more time to investigate. They have to take this before a grand jury, but rest assured the criminal charges are coming. This is a lawsuit that was filed in Houston, Texas, the Southern District of Texas. Now, you need to know that when you engage in activity, your identity is going to be public. Chase is suing these people. Anybody can get this information. Their names are public. Where they live is public. It's all public information. So let me just read to you what this first lawsuit says. So this person is in Houston, Texas on August 29th, 2024 at a walk-up ATM at 9:42 p.m. at night. A masked man deposited a check into defendant's account in the amount of $335,000. After the deposit on August 30th, 2024 at 11:10 a.m., defendant withdrew $10,000 in person at a Houston area Chase branch. Approximately 1 hour later, defendant wired $100,000 from a different Chase branch. Then, 2 hours after that, defendant purchased a cashier's check for $150,000. Defendant continued his scheme the next day and withdrew $40,000 and $20,000 just 2 minutes apart. In sum, defendant has withdrawn or transferred at least $320,000 of the original $335,000 counterfeit deposit. On September 4th, 2024, the check was rejected by the alleged issuing bank and returned as counterfeit. The check's return resulted in a substantial negative balance. As of the date of filing, defendant owes Chase $290,939.47. The complaint goes on to say Chase's global security representatives attempted to contact defendant regarding the counterfeit check and his overdraft, but he failed to respond. Chase also sent a letter demanding return of the funds. Defendant has not responded to any of Chase's correspondence, has not communicated with Chase in any other manner, and has not returned the funds. Based on the facts in this complaint, this person had to have known that what they were doing was criminal. The person was masked who made the deposit into the account. Even if they try to argue they don't know who made the deposit, how many people have your ATM information? How many people have your debit card and they can make a deposit into your account? And then they began rapidly withdrawing the money. They made the first deposit on the 29th. The very next day, you have withdrawn $320,000. You knew you had to work pretty fast. Within 5 days, by September 4th, the counterfeit check is returned. So you know, even if your argument is, oh, I didn't know that this was a counterfeit check, it was not a good check, within 5 days you knew. Now, within 5 days you knew it was a counterfeit check and you couldn't return the money? That is very suspect. I mean, we know this person had to have known they were engaging in criminal activity. So this person is now facing civil charges. They're probably going to be facing criminal charges. You know, when you engage in these type of activities, you really need to think about what you're doing. Do you want to hear about the other lawsuits Chase has filed? If you do, like, share, and follow. And I'm going to be posting a part 2 with the next lawsuit out of Florida. Chase Money Glitch lawsuit number 2. I'm a lawyer in real life. I don't play one on television. Chase Bank is now suing individuals who deposited counterfeit checks and withdrew money this summer. Let's talk about the second lawsuit that I reviewed. Now, the individual in this lawsuit was a little more clever. They didn't deposit the checks in an account with their name on it, but they used a business account. But they're not so clever as to not get caught, and let me explain why. What I'm about to say, I know most of you all know, but let me just repeat it for the folks who may not. When you open a bank account in the name of a business, you have to give the bank your actual name. You have to also give the bank the documents that you use to create the business, which also has your name on it. So in the second lawsuit against Risk Boss Music LLC, Chase Bank is able to name the person who is the sole owner of this company. So let's look at the facts in this case. According to the lawsuit that Chase has filed, on August 23rd, 2024, at an ATM outside of Orlando, Florida, defendant deposited a fraudulent check into its account in the amount of $149,000. After the deposit, the defendant made several significant withdrawals and transfers. Specifically, 3 days later, defendant made an in-person transfer of $110,000 to a third party. Defendant made 3 more in-person withdrawals that same day from the same branch for $5,000, $9,900, and $10,000. After making yet additional withdrawals, defendant essentially depleted its account of all funds deposited from the fraudulent check. On August 28, 2024, the check was rejected by the alleged issuing bank and returned as a forgery. The check's return resulted in a substantial negative balance. As of the date of filing, defendant owes Chase $141,295.84. Chase's global security representatives contacted defendant regarding the check and its overdraft. Chase also sent a letter demanding return of the funds. Defendant has not returned any funds. If this person has any assets that Chase can go after, you better believe they're going to go after them. This may follow them for the rest of their life. We already know that their law enforcement is involved. There probably is going to be criminal charges. So that is something they're going to have to deal with and will follow them for the rest of their lives if they are convicted. They've gotten a third party involved. So it is a real mess. So that's lawsuit number 2. Let's look at number 3. I'll do a part 3 so that we can look at the next lawsuit that I found where Chase is suing people involved in the Chase money glitch this summer. Chase lawsuit glitch number 3. We have another business, In-N-Out Appliances. I'm a lawyer in real life. I don't play one on television. Let's talk about this lawsuit. In-N-Out Appliances LLC in Florida decided they would take a chance, see if they could get some money in and out of their account real quick. They did, but they're now about to pay the consequences. As I explained in my other video, part 2, Chase Bank knows who owns this business. They are listed and named in the lawsuit. But let's talk about what they did here. So according to the lawsuit, on August 28th and 29th of 2024, 2 checks were deposited into defendant's account at an ATM in the amounts of $75,000 and $245,999.12 respectively. After the deposits, defendant made several significant withdrawals of money. The checks were rejected by the alleged issuing bank and returned as counterfeit. The checks return resulted in a substantial negative balance. As of the date of the filing, defendant owes Chase $138,680.91. Chase's global security representatives attempted to contact defendant regarding the counterfeit check and its overdraft, but it failed to respond. Chase also sent a letter demanding return of the funds. Defendant has not responded to any of Chase's correspondence, has not communicated with Chase in any other manner, and has not returned the funds. So I'm wondering about the specificity of the amount in this case, $245,999.12. Was it for a specific purpose? I don't know, but this was a really dumb move. The company and really the individual who owns this company, the criminal charges are coming. Chase is moving quickly to try to secure the money, the return of the money that was taken, but you can rest assured the criminal charges are coming. Let me know what you think in the comments, and let me know if you think these people are going to face criminal charges eventually. Talk about the 4th lawsuit Chase has filed against the people who took advantage of the Chase money glitch. I'm a lawyer in real life. I don't play one on television. And let's look at this lawsuit that was filed against someone in Los Angeles. So these lawsuits are all the same. They have the same introductory paragraphs. Then they list the parties, they talk about jurisdiction and venue, and then they get to the statement of facts. The statement of facts pretty much lays out the same way in all of the cases. They just substitute the specific facts that this person engaged in and the specific amount. So let me read you the statement of facts as laid out by Chase in this lawsuit. So Chase says the defendant opened a checking account with Chase When opening his account, defendant agreed to abide by all terms and conditions in the DAA, which governs his relationship with Chase. Among other things, defendant agreed to be responsible for any amounts owed on the account and to immediately...
Now press pause, Zachary. Let me get this comment up on the screen because this is a good question, and I had this question as well. Because we can't deposit a $200 check in the bank and have access to the whole $200 at once. So please explain to me how they were able to deposit a $300,000 check into the bank and have access to that money right away. Please. Matter of fact, I thought, now this is just me thought, this is not factual, this is just a thought. But I thought anything over $10,000 had to be reported and questioned. Is that not the case? Because how exactly were they able to deposit a $300,000 check one day and pull out almost the whole thing the next? Makes no sense to me, but let's continue.
Started suing the individuals who deposited counterfeit checks and withdrew the money this summer. I'm a lawyer in real life. I don't play one on television. Let's talk about what happened, and let's talk about what is likely to happen to these individuals. First, let me just ask a question. Why did you think this was going to work? Why did you think you could deposit a counterfeit check, money you knew you didn't have, a check you knew was not real, and think you were going to be able to withdraw the money and nobody was going to come and ask for their money? I don't understand. So Chase has filed civil lawsuits. The criminal cases are still pending. The feds take a little more time to investigate. They have to take this before a grand jury, but rest assured the criminal charges are coming. This is a lawsuit that was filed in Houston, Texas, the Southern District of Texas. Now, you need to know that when you engage in activity, your identity is going to be public. Chase is suing these people. Anybody can get this information. Their names are public. Where they live is public. It's all public.
So I'm just going to end that right there. Y'all get, make sure my mic is on. Y'all get the gist. These people want to play with JP of the Morgan, located in Chase City. They want to play with their money. And the problem is, I'm really not understanding how they thought they could get away with it. What made them think that they were going to be able to get away with defrauding the bank, especially when you're using your own account? We can't even be this, though. So you're going to commit an illegal act with your own checking account? Or, as the other young lady we watched, have people who are dumb enough to allow people to deposit a fraudulent check into your account. Your name is attached to that, not them. So who's going to take the heat behind it? And nobody told them clearly how checks work. Checking accounts, maybe. Overdrafts, I don't know. Nobody told you if you deposit a fraudulent check into your account, you are responsible for those funds. Nobody shared that with you. Do you not realize there is no bigger gangster than the bank? And y'all thought y'all could just strong arm rob the bank low key under the table and walk away. And Chase, the largest bank in the world, would just say, "You got it, kinfolk." That's what y'all thought. And again, I say, to deposit it in your own account, baby, that's got me flued out. That's damn diabolical, if you ask me. Isn't the whole purpose of a scam to not get caught? to make sure it doesn't trace back to you? Ain't that the purpose? And you just handed them the suspect and the conviction. They don't even have to work for it. Please. I hope they have good lawyers because they gonna need them. They gonna need them. And I am shaking my mother freaking head. Do better. Stop looking for everything to be handed to you. Stop looking for everything free. Stop chasing the bag. Chase your goals that lead to the bag. There's a reason why, again, I say, the Bible says the love of money is the root of all evil. There's a reason. Set goals. Create an action plan. Work. Save. Build. Create. Establish. Do better. Money ain't everything. But the love of it can get you everything you don't want. And we gonna leave that one right there. Let me know what y'all think about it in the comments. Cause nope. Yeah, see, here's my problem. I be too scared. I be too scared that I'm gonna be the one that's gonna get caught. You know how you have those people that seem to be able to get away with everything? That's not me. So I don't even tempt fate like that. I'm not even finna play. I'ma work hard so I can play hard. Not in the prison yard. Because orange is not the new black for me. I ain't gonna be able to do it. Do better. So now, y'all, excuse me. Give me 1 second. Next, let us journey overseas to a country in West Asia nestled between Damascus, Turkey, and Iraq, a place named Syria. I don't know if y'all been following this story, but stay with me because we're really going somewhere with this one. So on December the 8th, the Assad regime, hold on a second, let me get it up here. So on December the 8th, the Assad regime, led by, let me get his picture, Bashar al-Assad, was toppled by opposition forces, which sent the dictator fleeing to Russia as his house burned down. This offensive was led by this guy right here, and his name is Tahrir al-Sham. Yeah. And supported mainly by Turkish-backed Syrian National Army as part of an ongoing Syrian civil war that began in 2011. Well, after this, the infamous, let me get them down. 1 second. The infamous let me pronounce it because y'all, these words. Satanaya prison, which was said to be the dictator's torture chamber where men, women, and children were held, tortured and unalived, was overthrown, by the same forces and people who had been held for years. Some were eventually set free. So basically what happened is the people got tired of the dictator playing games, and they decided to run down on him. Sent him running to Russia as his entire mansion burned to the ground. And after which, they went inside the prison, which he was using to hold those individuals who opposed him. They ran up in there and set everybody free. Oh, yeah, they did. Watch this clip real quick. Hold on a second.
Stream of families never stops, climbing towards Syria's most notorious Sednaya prison, pushed on by reports that thousands of people imprisoned by the regime of Bashar al-Assad are still trapped alive in a section underground. The red section of the prison, they've been trying for days to reach it, Maysoon Labout tells us. There's no oxygen because the ventilation went out, and so they all may die. For the sake of Allah, help them.
Is someone from your family in the prison?
Stream of families never stops, climbing towards Syria's most notorious Sednaya prison, pushed on by reports that thousands of people imprisoned by the regime of Bashar al-Assad are still trapped alive in a section underground. The red section of the prison, they've been trying for days to reach it, Maysoon Labout tells us. There's no oxygen because the ventilation went out, and so they all may die. For the sake of Allah, help them.
Is someone from your family in the prison?
My 3 brothers and my son-in-law, she says. The roads are choked with cars full of people looking for loved ones. As soon as they see our camera, they approach, holding lists of names of those who vanished inside Assad's dungeons, never to be seen again. You have to get them out before tomorrow, this man says. They don't have food, they don't have water.
Everybody's just started running. It's not clear if they have managed to get into this part of the prison.
My God, the woman prays, my God, as the crowd surges towards the prison.
So it looks like they think that they have managed to get access.
Members are searching too.
You can see people everywhere just combing through all the papers and records they can find, looking for names, seeing if maybe their loved ones are there.
Tens of thousands of Syrians were forcibly disappeared in Sednaya, lost in the abyss of a prison that was known as a slaughterhouse, industrial-scale arbitrary detention and torture, all to keep one man in power.
They call this the white area of the prison because they say the conditions here are much better than in other areas, but you can see it's still miserable.
In the center of the prison, another frantic rush. Someone thinks they have found a tunnel. They desperately try to get a look inside. Others look on, helpless. Not knowing is agony. Assad may be gone, but the legacy of his cruelty remains.
There are still conflicting reports about Sednaya and whether this so-called red section of the prison exists. A group that calls itself the Association of Detainees and the Missing in Sednaya put out a statement on Twitter saying that basically this was incorrect, that all people who were being held in Sednaya had been released by 11 a.m. on December 8th, and yet we are still seeing media reports as recently as an hour ago saying they believe once again they may have found this so-called red area.
And y'all think we have issues over here? Y'all think we have problems? Baby, bye. So we're talking about the harrowing and ongoing atrocities at Syria's Sednaya prison, right? Let me show you these clips. Y'all, it's hard trying to do the show and the clips at the same time, but we got this. We got it. So this is Sednaya prison. This facility has gained notoriety due to the mass torture and execution practices reportedly carried out by the Syrian government since the civil war began in 2011. So, Sednaya prison has been the site of brutal human rights violations, including mass hangings of detainees An estimated 13,000 people were hanged there between 2011 and 2015 alone. Just let that sink in for a second. 13,000 people hanged in prison without due process just because the dictator said so between 2011 and 2015, with many prisoners subjected to physical and psychological torture, including beatings, electrocution, and prolonged solitary confinement. So one of the most chilling aspects of Sednaya's operations is its so-called trials, which are mere formalities, often lasting only minutes and serving as a precursor to executions. Many detainees are unaware of their fate until they are taken to an execution room where they are blindfolded and hanged, sometimes in large groups. Can y'all imagine if this was going on U.S. soil? Just being hanged because the dictator said so? So survivors of the prison often report severe long-term trauma, both mental and physical, due to the extreme conditions and regular torture. Amnesty International has labeled Sednaya as a human slaughterhouse because of the systematic violence that is carried out there. Inside the morgue of the Mushtahid Hospital in Damascus, a grim scene awaits. Bruised and battered bodies, tangled evidence of unspeakable brutality of Assad's reign. Families stand here, desperate for closure. Where are they, cries one woman, a plea for her mother, brother, and husband, missing for over a decade. So I need y'all to remember, this was not just a prison for men or people who committed crimes. There were women and children here as well. So this was a prison for those who opposed the dictator, not those who were necessarily guilty of any crime other than going against a dictator. This is crazy. 35 bodies were recovered from a military hospital just days after Assad's fall. Many believe they were prisoners at the infamous Sednaya prison, silenced by years of systematic torture. Inside, the bodies were tagged with only numbers, their identities erased by a regime intent on silencing them. But outside, under dim lights, families searched for anything familiar: a scar, a face, a piece of clothing. They don't just see their loved ones, they see the marks of unimaginable suffering. Dr. Ahmed Abdullah, working at the morgue, describes the horrors inflicted by Assad's regime. Even in the Middle Ages, he said, they didn't torture people like this. Each mark, each scar, a testament to the regime's cruelty. As Assad fled to Russia, anger erupts. A grieving mother who lost her son 12 years ago curses him. I hope he burns like he burned my heart. These voices, raw and unfiltered, are the cries of a nation scarred but seeking accountability. Now, here's how the Assad regime fell in less than 2 weeks. Give me 1 second. This guy right here above me. It's been over a decade since the world saw serious unrest kick off in 2011. And let's just be clear, it's been nothing short of a roller coaster. So, it sparked off in 2011. Everything started with peaceful protests. You heard me. Peaceful. It's crazy how we can get here from peaceful protests, right? Like, we've never seen this before, right? Peaceful protests turn into complete anarchy. People were simply asking for basic rights. But when the Assad regime decided to meet those demands with violence, things got really ugly really fast. So in 2012 is when you had the uprising. By 2012, it was no longer a protest. It was a full-blown uprising. Rebels started fighting back, and guess what? The international community started paying attention. Some countries jumped in to help the rebels, while others backed the Assad government. But that just turned the heat up on the whole situation. Between 2013 and 2014, that's when we started to see the international stakes in this thing. So now the big players started to show up. You've got Russia backing Assad, while the US is supporting the opposition. And then came the chemical weapons attack of 2013. That's when the world went from watching to saying, hold up, we need to get involved. So between 2014 and 2015, this is where we saw the rise of ISIS. Fast forward to 2014, and here enters ISIS. Oh yeah, this is when things get real messy, beyond messy, and we know, right? The extremists took advantage of the chaos, making a bad situation worse. The world's powers had to figure out if they were fighting Assad, ISIS, or both. 2016 to present, the war raged on. So by 2016, it was clear the war wasn't going to go anywhere anytime soon. Assad had some serious backing, and the conflict had morphed into a battle of survival on both sides. The civilian toll was devastating. The world's eyes may have drifted, but the fight never stopped. See, this is what it looks like when people come together to fight for what they want. When people get tired, they aren't fighting ghosts in the darkness. No, they took the fight where it counted. They didn't burn down their cities. They didn't burn down their villages. They went and burned down the dictator's city and village. They burned down his mansion. This is what happens when we learn how to stop fighting each other and we learn how to come together and fight a system that is intent on separation and destroying us. But until we get into our mind that we need to be unified in order to really make the change that we really need to see, then we're going to consistently see stuff like this all around the world. Because we don't understand there's power in numbers, but there's even greater power in unity. Why do you think the Bible says where two or three come together as touching anything, there I am in the midst? There is power in numbers, but there's a greater power in unity. When we learn how to make that a part of our everyday lives, we gonna see changes that we never thought possible in our lifetime. But first, we got to get out of ourselves and start looking at the bigger picture. This is what I want y'all to remember. The oil drips from the head down. It's a saying I use over and over again. If you notice something pooling at the bottom, you got to start paying attention to what's going on at the top. Let me know what you think in the comments. Now, why would this be important? Well, I'm going to tell you why it's important. At the Majid Hospital in Damascus, right? Families desperately searched through bodies of those who were believed to be victims of the Assad regime. They were found in the military facility after the regime's collapse. The bodies showed signs of severe torture, possibly linked to the Sednaya's prison. The morgue was overcrowded and makeshift areas outside are set up for families to search with cell phone lights. One woman grieving her missing son condemns Assad, while morgue workers blame the regime for the horrific acts. This moment of despair unfolds as Assad flees the country to Russia, number two, but number one because of this. Check this out.
Breaking news for you out of Syria this morning, where a man identifying himself as a missing man from Missouri was found just south of Damascus. CNN's Salma Abdelaziz is joining us now. This isn't Austin Tice, which everyone in the family has been asking for and searching for and hoping to be found alive. What are we learning about this person who says he's from Missouri?
Yes, and let me just start with that again, Sarah, because there was a lot of misinformation. There were a lot of rumors online. This is not Austin Tice. The search for Austin Tice, of course, continues. But an American was found in Syria. His name is Travis Temmerman. This is breaking news, so we are waiting to get more information. But what we know about him, this 29-year-old from Missouri who appeared barefoot, wandering, disoriented in a suburb just south of Damascus. Now, media outlets have been able to speak to him. There's social media video emerging of him. And I just want to play you a short clip of one so that you can get a sense of his state and hear his voice.
My name is Travis. I'm from the...
1 minute, 1 minute. What's your name?
Travis.
Chavez? Country?
United States.
United States?
The United States.
United States.
Now, what we know about him is what he's been able to tell journalists on the ground that he's spoken to, which is that he has been in prison for 7 months. He traveled to Syria on foot. He told reporters that he was on a spiritual journey, that he considered himself a pilgrim. He says that when he crossed, of course, from Lebanon into Syria, that's when he was arrested, detained by security forces, taken to a regime prison. He says he was treated relatively well, given food, given water, but that he heard the sounds of people being tortured in that regime prison. Again, he was there for 7 months. It was first understood that he was missing earlier this year in Hungary, so there was very little understanding as to how he wound up in Syria other than what he is telling reporters. U.S. officials have responded, have commented on this, and I do want to read you what one U.S. official told CNN, which is that it is aware of reports of an American found outside of Damascus. It is seeking to provide support, but out of a respect for his privacy, we have no further information to provide at this time. So very much a person who is now receiving aid, receiving help on the ground, and we'll let you know more when we know it.
I don't get it. Now, first, Austin Tice that she mentioned, for those of you who don't know, he was an award-winning journalist and a Houston native, and he went missing 12 years ago in Syria while covering the country's ongoing civil war. He was a freelance journalist for the Washington Post, the McClatchy News, and other publications, and he still has not been located. So that's who Austin Tice was. But it's crazy to me to visit another country and end up in prison. But he did admittedly state that he went in without permission. I would love to hear from his family about this whole excursion that he went on, if anybody knew anything about his intentions, if they knew how long he was going to be gone, if they knew what his intentions were for being there. Help me understand why you would purposely put yourself in a dangerous situation for a so-called spiritual journey. What spirit? Please help me understand, because that's crazy to me. You just gonna walk into a country that you know has a dictator without permission, and what did you think was gonna happen? Again, I say, do we think anymore? Or is our brain just for show? Please help me understand. Because the sense is starting not to sense anymore. It's just not making sense to me anymore. Some of the stuff that we decide to do as human beings. Because to go to another country and basically intentionally go to prison is diabolical. It really is. I'm really glad he's okay. Don't get me wrong. But just wandering in lands that you know nothing about, to me, is crazy. It's crazy work to me. I just think somehow we like to tempt fate. We do. Somehow we don't think it will happen to us. Like somehow we are exempt when we do the stuff that we do. Somehow we feel like we're invincible. That is until the power of the panther has been stripped away. When did we get like this, where we started feeling like it's our thing, we can do what we want to do, when we want to do it, how we want to do it, and we don't expect no consequences behind anything we do, because YOLO, we only live once. Guess what? You only die once too. YOLO. It's sad. We got to do better. We got to start thinking first. Is this a smart move? Or is this a me move? Because me is the first two letters in mess. And boy, do we mess things up when we try to do it our way. Sometimes we should stop and use our brain first. Or have we fried those brain cells away with drugs and pills and everything else we seem to be doing these days? Somebody help me understand, because I'm confused. We're going to pause for a second. We're going to take a quick intermission. Give y'all a chance to fill up those glasses to the rim with your favorite bubbly, because I'm finna fill mine up. And we're going to be right back. So take this pause, chat with some people in the chat, and we'll be right back. Unpause. I wasn't going to keep y'all that long. I had to change the scene. You know how we do. Y'all see all this? Y'all see it? Y'all see it? Y'all ready to get into the next part of our show? Glad you are. Because while we're overseas, we need to take a trip to the Philippines. Americans getting in a lot of trouble overseas, and we finna get into it, because while the previous guy was found safe and sound, over in the Philippines, a young man who moved there to build a life for himself, and also married one of the locals, and also started a business there, and everything was going well. That was until this happened.
Tonight, an American missing from his home in the Philippines. Now feared dead, allegedly killed by his kidnappers, according to local police.
I'm gonna get some coffee.
Elliot Eastman, a 26-year-old aspiring influencer and YouTube vlogger, regularly documented his life, living in, quote, the Philippines' most dangerous area as an American. On October 17th, Eastman was taken from the southern island of Mindanao at gunpoint, FBI agents arriving in the country days later to investigate, according to local media reports. But authorities now believe Eastman was likely shot while resisting the kidnapping as captors tried to take him away by speedboat. Regional police say a witness described his body then being tossed into the sea.
I've never seen any other foreigner here. Because it's dangerous. It's a dangerous area.
Eastman moved to the country last year, the Vermont native announcing to his followers he'd found a wife. The U.S. State Department currently has a level 2 warning for the Philippines, warning visitors to exercise increased caution. But the region where Eastman was living was considered to have an even higher risk due to crime, terrorism, civil unrest, and kidnapping. Some travelers calling it the red zone.
This is an area of the southern Philippines where, honestly, it has been a struggle to establish law and order since the Philippines became independent after World War II. And there have been a range of security challenges. From an insurgency to a threat from Islamic terrorism to just ordinary armed criminal groups that do things like the kidnapping that we're talking about today.
The danger, something Eastman seemed to be well aware of.
People coming here to tell my family that there's people that want to kidnap me or they're threatening to kidnap me. But for me, I've been living here, I've been taking this chance. You know, even last night, I'm scared a little bit. I'm scared.
Local police clashing with armed kidnapping groups as they searched for Eastman, allegedly killing 3 of the suspects. The official motive for Eastman's kidnapping still under investigation.
Okay, on that point, Valerie Castro joins us now live in studio. Do we know a motive here?
We don't know an official motive yet, but the former mayor of the town where Eastman was living says the kidnappers may have thought that he was a rich foreigner. Maybe he was coming from a wealthy family that could have provided a high ransom in return for his, in exchange for his return. He also says that there could have been some resentment towards an outsider marrying a local woman living with her family, and that may have been behind the motive in this case.
Okay, a lot going on there. All right, Valerie, we thank you for that.
I don't get it. I don't. I understand wanting to travel to other places, right? I get that. I understand that. I understand wanting to see the world, visit the world, right? I get that. We were taught if you're going to go to another land, to go to the tourist areas because it is dangerous for foreigners in a lot of these different places. He decided to move to one of the most dangerous sections in the Philippines. A red zone section labeled by the people who live there. What do we think we're gonna accomplish? That they would see you and be like, oh, he's an American. He's not from here. He's cool. We're going to leave him alone. Is that what we thought? But here's my problem, right? Because I told you in the beginning that I had a reason for sharing what I shared with you about overseas, right? Here's why this is so important. Do y'all remember this young lady? Right here. Do you remember when this young lady was unalived in Mexico? Do you remember this story? This is the story of a young black woman who treated her friends to a trip, I think for her birthday, if I'm not mistaken. Shanquella Robinson's story is tragic and deeply emotional. It highlights issues of violence, accountability, and justice. So here's an overview, right? And we're going to do a deep dive because I think this story happened before I started my YouTube channel. But we're still going to go revisit this because I don't think this story needs to die. I don't know why we're still not blasting this story all over everything until justice for an American citizen that was unalived in another country has been obtained. This baby deserves justice. I was about to say by any means necessary. But the way some of y'all set up these days, by any means necessary, gonna have us all sporting orange. But Shanquella was a 25-year-old woman from Charlotte, North Carolina. She was known for having a vibrant personality and an entrepreneurial spirit. She was the owner of a successful hair braiding business and boutique. Her life was cut short during what was supposed to be a celebratory trip with her friends. You guys remember this story, right? The friends called the Cabo Six. So on October 22nd, Shanquella traveled to Cabo, San Lucas, Mexico with a group of people she considered friends. The trip was meant to be a fun getaway, but tragedy struck within 24 hours of their arrival. So they didn't even get a chance to really enjoy it before this happened. The initial reports from her companions claimed that she passed away from alcohol poisoning. However, when her family demanded answers, the story began to unravel. The autopsy and evidence, right? So, an autopsy was conducted in Mexico and it revealed discrepancies in the group's account. The report stated that Shanquella died from severe injuries to her neck and spine, specifically atlas and axis luxation, indicating trauma. This contradicted the claim of alcohol poisoning. But adding to the horror, a video surfaced online, and I'm not going to show it, showing Shanquella being violently attacked by one of the people on the trip while others watched, some even recording the assault. I believe someone else actually jumped into the fight. Shanquella she notably did not fight back. Lord, I wish she would have fought back. Gosh, I wish she would have fought back. In the aftermath, there was public outrage. Her story went viral, sparking outrage across social media platforms, with the hashtag Justice for Shanquella becoming a rallying cry as people demanded accountability for what many believed was, a murder. Then there was the investigation. So Mexican authorities ruled her death a homicide and issued a warrant for the main suspect, reportedly the woman seen attacking her in the video. The U.S. Department of Justice also opened an investigation. However, extradition and legal processes between the two countries complicated the pursuit of justice. Hogwash, trash, garbage. I don't want to hear it. I don't give a damn. Figure it out, sit down, or do we need to go bad boys and figure out how to go over there and get justice? Because more than just the Cabo Six needs to be held accountable for this. How did Denzel Washington say in Training Day? Anybody that saw it, anybody that knew it, anybody that was there, anybody that witnessed it, anybody that heard anything and didn't say anything, everybody needs to go down. Period. Said what I said. Won't take it back. Why does she get to be the only one that doesn't walk away? Why? Why do they get to roam free? And this young, beautiful queen is no longer breathing. Why? Make it make sense. I just showed you the clips of them still talking about Austin Tice 12 years after his disappearance. Even the other clip of the young man who came out of the Setnaya prison. Glad he was found alive. But they were searching for him. Why aren't we doing more to search for answers and obtain justice for her? Somebody drop in the comments and let me know. Because I'm still waiting on an answer. And yeah, We can say, oh, it was because it's Mexico and the U.S. and Mexico don't have a good working relationship. I don't give a damn. Figure it out. You the big bad government. We able to run overseas and police other countries. We able to send money and military over to other places. Oh, there was a whole lot that you could have done to make sure that there was justice and the truth came out about what happened to this young lady, instead of everything being swept under the rug, including the police involvement and what the police attempted to cover up in Mexico, considering this young lady's unaliving. But then there was her family's fight. It was led by her mother, Salamandra Robinson, and she tirelessly advocated for the truth. They pushed for transparency and justice, and they refused to let her case fade into obscurity. But then, to make everything worse, there was allegedly, again I say, lies by the police, the doctors, the cleaning staff. It was just one big cover-up for this young black queen who went down there for a vacation that she treated her friends on, and she was the only one that didn't come back home. And everybody did everything they could to cover it up. So she unknowingly financed her own unaliving and didn't even know it, because she paid for this trip for everyone. Then, to top it off, they just left her there. How do you go on a trip with a friend? Something happens to one of your friends on the trip, and you just say, oh, well, I got a plane to catch. Matter of fact, it wasn't even a plane they were supposed to catch. They hopped on a plane after this young lady was unalived. So y'all ran. You stood 10 toes behind what you did and video recorded it, stood there and watched it, posted it on social media. You couldn't stand 10 toes and accept accountability and responsibility for the actions you decided to take. That's cowardice to me. Y'all left her like trash for the Mexican government to figure out and dispose of. Everybody ain't your friend. Everybody ain't your partner. Everybody ain't a real nigga. If I say I got you, I got you. That what it say? Y'all better check y'all friends this day and age. Why wasn't this much effort placed behind ensuring she received justice? That's what I don't get. How do you go on a trip with a friend and the friend doesn't come back home? The one who paid for the trip. If this ain't a clear-cut case of jealousy, I don't know what is. Do you not realize that you have people who call you friend and tell you they love you right now that's low-key only around you because they jealous of you? And they waiting for you to fall so that they can laugh in your face and say, aha. Don't y'all realize that? Because everybody ain't your friend. Everybody ain't your partner. Y'all better check your friendometer gauges. Because friends starting to look a whole lot like enemies nowadays. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not talking about Shanquella, because I feel like there should be no coverage on this young man who was unalived in the Philippines. That's not what I'm saying. Yes, his family should know what happened to him. Yes, someone needs to answer for his disappearance. Yes, there should be news coverage on it so others can understand that just like we feel some type of way about immigrants coming into our country and instantly getting a come up, how do you think other countries feel when we come in and do the same thing? Do we stop and think about that? Do you stop and think about how other countries and the people in those countries feel when we move to those countries? Because we're foreigners to them. Do we think about that? The same way immigrants have been unalived in our country by sick, twisted individuals who felt like they had the right to choose who lives and dies because you don't agree with a decision made by our government. Your problem isn't with the immigrants. Your problem is with a government that allows this to happen. A government that allows people to come into your country and do better than people who are already living here, born here, raised here. Your problem is with the government. It's not with the immigrants. It's not. But on the flip side, it's the same way you are looked at by some individuals when they can't seem to find a way to come up in their own country. But because you come from privilege, you can come right in and live like kings and queens in front of a people who are struggling for survival. Have you thought about that? How do you think it makes them feel when their money is worth nothing, but yours is worth everything? And you come right in and you're able to live better than they are in their country. Think about it. I just want you to think about it for a second. And we've covered this before, but I don't think y'all get it. So hold on a second. Let me pull this up. Hold on a second, y'all. Do y'all see these stats? Do you get it now? It's easy for us to go to these countries and come up because of how much our money is worth over there. $100 can make you rich in some areas. Hold on, because you can't see Nigeria because my thing is right there. Give me 1 second. Let me move it down for you. That's better. Because I want y'all to see this. Oh, slide this down. Here we go. Yeah, I needed y'all to be able to see this. $100 in Nigeria is worth 154,243 of their dollars. Just 100 of ours. The $100 here is worth 2,000 in Mexico. You wonder why they're able to send for so many of their people to come here? Because all you got to do is send $100 and you just got a quick come up. That fast. You get it now? But the same way effort is placed into this for the gentleman who disappeared, the gentleman they're still looking for, the gentleman who was unalive, that same effort should have been placed into Shanquella. What y'all think about it? That's just how I feel. We can't be selective. If we're going to look out for Americans, we got to look out for all Americans. Period. If we're going to be concerned about one, we got to be concerned about all. Period. This ain't a black thing. This ain't a white thing. This is an American people thing. We got to start looking at it the same way we look at our family. Let one of your loved ones disappear. Are you not moving heaven, hell, and in between to make sure they get back safe? That's the way we expect our government to start looking at us. If something happens to one of us, we do what it takes to get us back or to find answers. That's why I say the problem is not with each other. Problem is with a system designed to keep us segregated and separated. Now, let's get to this show. Oh, child, because this one here, I just don't know. Prominent real estate brokers and their brother charged in a sex trafficking case. What is it about 2024 that all the sexual predators is coming out? Cat Williams said, all lies will be revealed in 2024. We got, 2 weeks left? I'm afraid to find out what's going to come out in these last 2 weeks of 2024. I'm afraid to find out. But when it comes to this story, what happens when real estate royalty gets tangled in allegations that could shatter their empire? Well, let's spill a little truth. So imagine being at the top of a luxury real estate game, brokering million-dollar deals and living a life of glamour. That was Alexander brothers, Oren, Tal, and Alon, the faces of high-end real estate. But now, their names are tied into something far darker. Accusations of sexual assault and trafficking have surfaced, and their glittering reputations are crumbling under the weight of these shocking claims. Check this out.
Today I'm announcing a 3-count indictment charging 3 brothers, Alon Alexander, Oren Alexander, and Tal Alexander, with sex trafficking offenses. The indictment alleges that between at least 2010 and at least 2021, the Alexander brothers worked together and with others to repeatedly and violently drug, sexually assault, and rape dozens of female victims. The Alexander brothers reside primarily in New York and Miami, and as alleged, Oren and Tal Alexander were real estate agents who focus on ultra-luxury markets. Alon Alexander, who was Oren's twin, was an executive of a private security firm owned and operated by his family. As alleged, the defendants used their wealth and positions to create and facilitate opportunities to sexually assault women. In particular, Oren and Tal Alexander allegedly used their prominent positions in the real estate industry to induce women to come to events and parties. At those parties, and sometimes afterwards, the women were sexually assaulted by one or more of the defendants. As alleged in the indictment, for years, the Alexander brothers, sometimes with others, also arranged domestic and international trips to carry out their sex trafficking scheme. To recruit and induce women to come on the trips, they provided material benefits, things like travel to vacation destinations, luxury accommodations, and access to other high-end experiences. The indictment alleges that after meeting their victims, the Alexander brothers would invite the victims to a vacation property or location. The Alexander brothers and other men they planned the trips with paid for the flights or accommodations for the women on these trips. And at times, the defendants handpicked the women to invite. At other times, they used paid party promoters to source women for them. The indictment also alleges that in advance of these events, the Alexander brothers and others procured drugs that they agreed to provide to the women, including cocaine, mushrooms, and GHB. As we allege, these drugs caused some of the women to be physically unable to fight back or to escape. Then, as alleged, the Alexander brothers, sometimes acting alone, sometimes with each other, and sometimes with other men, forcibly raped and assaulted the women. On numerous occasions, one or more of the defendants drugged and raped or sexually assaulted women they encountered by chance. at bars, at nightclubs, social events, and dating apps. These assaults allegedly had many of the same hallmarks as the rapes that occurred at group events: isolated locations, drug victims, force, and physical restraint. I encourage anyone with information about this case to come forward and to do so quickly. You can call 212-384-2700. You can also email at alexander-case@fbi.gov.
Had to turn my mic back on real quick. So, y'all. So let's dig into this a little bit, okay? So Orrin Tall and Alon Alexander, they were the golden trio of the luxury real estate world. So they were power players whose names carried weight in high-stakes markets. They first made waves at the prestigious Douglas Elliman brokerage, carving a path as young, ambitious trailblazers. Their sharp business acumen and glamorous image led to the founding of their own firm, Official, specializing in ultra luxury properties for the wealthiest clients. Their client list were the who's who of the elites. They included A-list celebrities, business moguls, and foreign investors. Hold on one. And they were all seeking the perfect million or multi-million dollar Manhattan penthouse or Miami mansion. Their lifestyle mirrored the high-end deals they brokered. Think lavish parties, Diddy. Sounds like another Diddy thing to me. But lavish parties, high-profile networking events, and social media feeds that screamed wealth and success. Y'all remember that those videos that used to go viral? Tell me you're extremely wealthy without telling me you're extremely wealthy. Yeah, that's what they were a part of. But as the saying goes, all that glitters ain't gold. Beneath the surface of their luxury empire, a much darker narrative is now emerging, one that's unraveling their carefully curated image. Stay tuned because we're digging deeper, right? So this is where the story takes a disturbing turn. The Alexander brothers are facing allegations of sexual assault and trafficking, with at least 28 women stepping forward to accuse them. Again, sound like Diddy, don't it? The lawsuits describe horrifying incidents, including patterns of manipulation, coercion, and violence that paint a chilling picture of their alleged behavior. Some accusers claim the abuse dates back to the brothers' teenage years, suggesting this pattern of predation has spanned decades. These aren't isolated accusations. The FBI's Child Exploitation and Trafficking Task Force is now involved, and they're digging into the scope and scale of their actions. What's most disturbing is how these incidents reportedly escalated over time. From their early years to the pinnacle of their real estate success, allegedly, the very power and privilege they cultivated in their careers may have been used to enable and cover up their behavior. From high school halls to penthouses, the allegations paint a disturbing picture, and it's one that demands justice. Let's unpack these implications and what it could mean for survivors moving forward. So the fallout from these allegations has been swift and severe. Both New York and Florida wasted no time revoking the Alexander brothers' real estate licenses, effectively cutting them off from the industry they once dominated. Their brokerage, Official, is scrambling to distance itself from the scandal. It's removing the brothers' names from their branding and issuing statements to reassure their clients. The luxury real estate world is buzzing with reactions. Competitors see this as a cautionary tale. Peers are expressing shock, and high-profile clients are quietly severing ties. Deals that once had their stamp of prestige now carry a shadow of disgrace. The industry's golden boys have turned into cautionary tales overnight, and their downfall serves as a harsh reminder of how fragile even the most glittering reputations can be. Let's go further. The Alexander brothers' story is more than just one of personal downfall. It sheds light on how wealth and privilege can foster environments where abuse thrives unchecked. When power is concentrated in the hands of a few, it often creates a culture of impunity, allowing harmful behaviors to flourish behind closed doors. Adding another layer to this, the Alexander family's ties to Kent Security, a private security firm, raises troubling questions about how power structures can be used to protect abusers. Did access to such resources shield them from scrutiny for so many years? Kind of like the whole Epstein Island thing. You know, if you have an island, the island belongs to you, then so also does the water surrounding the island for so many miles. So no one has the need to come on your island unless someone from the island lets them know what's going on the island. Same way with these brothers. If you have a security team to protect you, money talks, bullshit walks. Ain't that what we say? If you have something protecting you, then you're not going to be found out because you're paying people to keep everything under wraps. So this isn't just about individuals. It's about systems that allow them to thrive unchecked. It's time to explore how these dynamics enabled their alleged actions and what can be done to dismantle such structures moving forward. So now the FBI investigation is in full swing, with the possibility of severe legal consequences for the Alexander brothers if the allegations are proven true. Criminal charges, potential civil suits, and public scrutiny await as investigators work to untangle the full scope of the accusations. Accountability isn't just about punishment for the accused, it's about addressing the systematic failures that enable them. The luxury real estate industry, now under the microscope, must reckon with its culture of unchecked power and privilege. The legal system may move slow, but these survivors are making sure justice catches up. Together, they are changing the narrative and demanding the accountability that has long been overdue. So what can we learn from this, right? So whether you're buying a home or navigating your own world, power imbalances matter. This story is a wake-up call about the dangers, again, of unchecked power and privilege. We see the same thing with Diddy. Now they're trying to bring, allegedly, Jay-Z into it. How many more people do you think are going to fall because power was left unchecked and money gave them the privilege to get away with it for so long? Abuse often hides in plain sight, disguised by wealth, influence, or authority. What is one of our favorite sayings? Power corrupts. Absolute power absolutely corrupts. It's essential to recognize the warning signs of manipulation, of secrecy, or environments where power dynamics feel oppressive or even exploitive. And if you think that's outrageous, you know somehow because people think Diddy is the only monster, I need you to check out this next video. Tell me what you think. Because again, while we're so focused on Diddy, there's monsters right around us that we don't even have our eye on. because we're not even thinking to pay attention. Check this out.
Say a sexual predator who was in lockup for allegedly attacking multiple women was caught on camera scooting his way across the jailhouse floor to allegedly assault another woman. You gotta see this video, and we're gonna break it down from multiple angles with prison consultant Justin Paperny. Welcome to Sidebar, presented by Law and Crime. I'm Jesse Weber. You gotta hear this one. Arizona officials say that an inmate at an intake facility was able to sneak past a deputy and try to sexually assault a woman. Yes. To talk about this, I want to bring in prison consultant and friend of the show, Justin Paperny. Justin, good to see you. First, before we even get into the video, and there is a lot to get into, what are inmate intake facilities? First, walk us through that.
Well, when you're taken into custody, there's a whole process. You are going to get naked, or as they say, squat and cough, to make sure you're not smuggling anything in. They'll ask you tons of questions. They'll give you a prison uniform. They'll drug test you. You'll go through a breathalyzer. And after several hours, at times through segregation or sitting in a little hole waiting for them to come back and forth, they'll process you in. And several hours later, there you are sitting in prison. The intake process can be anywhere from an hour to several hours, depending on how many people they're processing.
Okay, so with that in mind, and that was a great setup to talk about this scenario. So this happened back in April, and the Maricopa County Sheriff's Office just released the video. There are multiple camera angles that show us different views of this alleged sneak attack. So first, a little bit of background here. We have 29-year-old Justin Avery. He was at the intake, transfer, and release facility after he allegedly assaulted 5 different women in public places on the Arizona State University campus in Tempe. He was arrested outside of a library because authorities say he didn't have any connection with ASU, but he allegedly used the campus as his hunting grounds. Now, court documents allege that he targeted women at random, mostly in parking garages, groping them. This is according to reports from the victims. One woman says that Avery tried to strangle her, so she ended up kicking him in the groin to get him to stop. Now, Avery appeared before an Arizona judge.
He is a repeat sexual predator, attacking 5 women here. It is just extremely unfortunate that the victims could fight the defendant off to prevent the crimes going to their full extent.
You know what's difficult? You know what's tough? Reading through legal briefs and filings to prepare for Sidebar. It's like I'm back in law school. Being told I look like Dennis Reynolds every single time I check the comments. That wears on you. At this point, I think people think he hosts the show. Again, it's tough. But you know what's not difficult? Starting a claim with Morgan & Morgan. How about that transition, by the way? Well, Morgan & Morgan, America's largest injury law firm, they make the process as easy as possible for their clients, because from starting your claim to uploading documents to talking to your legal team, it can all be done from your smartphone. There's no upfront fee. You only pay them if you win. And speaking winning, Morgan & Morgan, they have a track record of securing verdicts and settlements in the multi-millions. So if you're injured, this may be the firm you want in your corner. You can easily start a claim at forthepeople.com/LC Sidebar. Okay, so again, before we get into the specifics of this situation, my gosh, Justin seems to be a guy that, you don't want on the streets.
You just summed it up beautifully. There are some people who are charged and arrested and be able to be given bond to continue to work in the community under supervision. But as I read this, he was charged with sexually assaulting 2 people, then immediately out on bond the next day. So I think it speaks to corrections. Some people should be in the community, some should not. And you could argue there's some culpability with the government allowing him to return to the community. Now, I understand the cost of corrections and that it's very expensive to warehouse people in prison. A lot of these states are broke and they don't want to spend more money than they need to. But if someone is at risk to the community and they've been charged with sexually assaulting people, perhaps some people shouldn't be removed or let go on bond, because guess what? He did it again.
So, with that in mind, Avery's arrested. He's taken to jail. And this surveillance video from inside the intake, transfer, and release facility near the jail is from a few days later. So it's April 17th. So this room is divided into 2 sections. There's a waiting area for women, and then there's another one for men. There's a desk at the dividing line where a deputy sits, supposed to be keeping an eye on things. It's almost 4 in the morning at this point, so a lot of the detainees are trying to sleep. Some are in street clothes, others are in orange gel jumpsuits, and a lot of them have huddled down inside their shirts to try to stay warm or to block out the light. Some are spread out on the floor, and that includes our suspect, Avery. So Avery, as you see in this video, seems to get up off the floor, stretches, appears to wait for one of the deputies to leave the room, then he sits down and slides out of view of the deputy, allegedly crawling and pushing himself backwards around the desk. He appears to get away with this for a little over a minute as he pushes himself toward a woman in white who's trying to sleep on the floor of the woman's side of the room. Then you have other cameras that give us a view of Avery getting closer to the woman before he appears and allegedly starts to pull his pants down and expose himself. Now, there are other women sitting in the same area. One appears to be asleep on the floor while the other is in a chair. It's unclear from the video if she says something to Avery, but he seems to put his finger to his lips in a be quiet gesture. Court documents say the woman said, "Hey, get off of her," and that's when Avery allegedly shushed her. And that is when the deputy looks up, realizes what's going on, realizes that Avery's on the wrong side of the room, and as soon as he's spotted, Avery appears to stand up, pulling up his pants as he walks away from the woman on the floor. According to court documents, he later admitted he planned to rape her. So the deputy pulls out restraints, has a conversation with Avery for a few seconds before more deputies show up, put the cuffs on him. Avery seems to resist a little bit as they take him to another part of the facility. So, Justin,
It makes sense. So you gonna try to essay somebody in jail? Y'all don't think we have bigger things to worry about than Diddy? This man wasn't a celebrity. He was an everyday Joe walking around. We so celebrity crazed. All we can think about is celebrity, celebrity, celebrity. Meanwhile, you got Psycho John living down the street from you. Probably downstairs, little do you know. Because we don't take the time to get to know people no more. So you don't know who you living around. You had this fool who was arrested for sexual assault in the jail holding area. Just, you know how the Bible talks about being turned over to a reprobate mind? Yeah. Because you got to be turned over to something. A lot of this stuff to me is just damn demonic. Because I have no words. You can't make this stuff up. That you would be in jail for trying to assault someone and then turn around and try to assault someone in jail. You didn't care about the guards. You didn't care about the cameras. You didn't care about this individual. You didn't care about people sitting around who saw it. You didn't care about the fact that you could have got pumed in the midst of what you was doing. If one of those officers had seen you and upped that thing on you, you didn't even care because your mind is gone. These people are crazy. That is why I do not spend my time on this channel talking about a bunch of celebrities. Do we discuss it? Absolutely. There's several celebrity cases we discuss. But we're not going to spend the whole channel discussing them. Because a lot of these celebrities, you'll probably never touch. You'll probably never see in real life. But what you need to do is pay attention to the individuals who operate and move around you every day. Because these are individuals who you can touch and who can touch you. These are individuals who are harming and hurting other people. But our eyes are so focused on social media and these celebrities that we're not even paying attention to the fact that we need to be watchful to what's going on around us. This is crazy. But drop in the comments and let me know what you think. I hope you enjoyed the show on tonight. I really do. It did pretty good. It really did. Y'all know I ain't been able to do a whole live since I violated them robots on that video. And since I called myself trying to talk about them aliens in the ocean and my whole live shut down for no reason at all. But we did pretty good. Could be due to the fact that your girl got a new system. I got a gaming computer. So I downloaded OBS onto it, set everything up, hoping that everything will work right. And I think we did pretty good. So stay tuned because there will be another show. You know it. We're going to do it live. We're going to get into some more videos. You see this up above me. Yes, ma'am. Yes, sir. The Hennessy Zone now has its own channel. So we will have the Champagne City over here at Champagne Secrets, and then we'll venture over to the Hennessy Zone for our hard topics that we need to discuss because we trying to, test the algorithm, a little bit, trying to figure out some stuff. So that when I figure it out, I can help some other smaller channels so they don't have to struggle as hard as I had to in order to figure this out. But having almost 700 subscribers in less than a year, I think that is a major accomplishment, and I'm proud of myself. I pat myself on the back. Yes, ma'am and sir. So make sure you do me a favor. Hit that like button. Hit the subscribe button. Go ahead and join the Champagne Gang. Join the Hennessy Zone as well. Become one of us. You know you want to. And don't worry about it. If you're not sure just yet, we'll leave the light on for you. We're family over here. Nothing but positivity. There's no negativity. We don't allow it. No toxicity. We don't allow it. Now, we may discuss some toxic stuff, but we leave it as a story. We don't bring it into our chat, and we don't interact with each other in those ways. Nah, we trying to build a community over here so that when we really build a Champagne City, everybody already know the rules and regulations. You feel me? So if you enjoyed the show, please do me a favor, hit that like button, hit the notification bell, and the subscribe button and the notification bell so you'll be notified when we jump into whichever sector we jump into for another show. Y'all like this background? I like it. Y'all know I had to do some creating. Had to do something new. Low key, like, I have like creativity ADHD. I think that's my problem. Because I can only use something like so many times and then I'm tired of it for real. I'm over it and I'm ready to create something new. So we have a new background that we gonna have until my mind tells me to create something new. So go ahead and subscribe. Thank you for joining. Hit the Cash App for me, please. This stuff you see, it costs. And y'all know I try to give y'all production value. So go ahead and hit the Cash App. Bless your girl. Because there's some things that I have in the works that I'm trying to do. And I hope you will support me in those efforts. Because y'all know y'all going to be a part of it. Until next time, thank you. Oh, hold on. Did I get this in here? And while you're at it, for those of you who love horror and all things paranormal activity and all things scary and spooky, why don't you journey on over to our brother's channel, Father Lock, and get into some horror? Because we definitely go over there and kick it the same way he comes over here and does it with us. So until next time, Champagne Gang, Fizz Fam, always remember, if it doesn't cause you to elevate, baby, it's causing you to depreciate. Now raise those glasses, clink, and let's drink till we meet again. Drop in the chat. We finna talk a little bit. Till we speak again. Ta-ta. I ain't even supposed to be back up here. Y'all weren't supposed to see me dancing. Hold on a minute.